name is Yunus. I'm former Chief of Staff of Government of Azerbaijan and former Chief of Staff of Parliament of Azerbaijan. I came in the United States 20 years ago. Today I'm American citizen. I'm political expert. Why I'm here? Simple question. Because today Ukraine and heroic Ukraine people defending not only sovereignty and territorial integrity for Ukraine, because Ukraine today defending, first of all, United States and US values, democratic values. Because today Ukraine defending United Europe values, but especially former Soviet area, include my native country, Azerbaijan. Because your victory, it is Azerbaijan victory. We have Russian troops in my native country, like peacemaker. And your victory help us kick out these Russian soldiers from Azerbaijan. Your victory, it is victory for Georgia. The same problem in Abkhazia occupied and South Ossetia. And Georgia can kick out Russian soldiers from there. Your victory, it is victory for Moldova. The same problem in Prednistrovia. Russian soldiers can be kicked out from there also. You have to know, history repeating itself. In December 14, 1939, Soviet Union kicked out from League of Nations for aggression against Finland. Today, Russia needs to kick out from United Nations Security Council and take away veto right. And Russia will use always this veto right against international law. Putin needs to be a real punishment. Because today I'm here, staying here and saying, Slava Ukraine! Slava Ukraine! Slava Ukraine! And let me say something in Russian language for Russian population, for Russian citizen who against Putin regime and who sitting at home. Граждане России, послушайте внимательно весь мир. Сегодня на моей родине, меня зовут Рамис Юнус, я гражданин Азербайджана и гражданин США. Сегодня в городе Баку многотысячный митинг в поддержку Украины перед посольством Украины. Посмотрите на интернет. Посмотрите сегодня на весь мир, на Грузию, на Тбилиси. Посмотрите на все города в мире. Миллионы людей сегодня стоят рядом с Украиной. Задайтесь вопросом, почему? Почему 80 лет назад в 4 утра Гитлер, фашист, бомбил Киев, мать городов русских? Гитлер из страны Баха и Бетховена. А сегодня в 4 утра точно так же бомбит мать городов русских уже другой Гитлер современный, Путин. Куда вы смотрите? Вы же говорите, что вы как будто потомки Пушкина и Чайковского. Отмолчаться не сможете. У нас в Азербайджане говорят, идущий в ад хочет с собой попутчика. Если вы не хотите проходить через ту трагедию, через которую прошла Германия и ее народ вместе с Гитлером, не повторяйте такой же ошибки и не идите в ад вместе с Путиным. Поднимайте свой голос протеста. Как сказал Владимир Стендер, порядочность не предопределяет героичности. Порядочность – это не участие в подлости. Не участвуйте в подлости. Поднимайте свой голос протеста. Больше, хуже быть не может. Потому что этот негодяй уже пугает весь мир ядерным оружием. Слава Украине!
President Biden, you promised us, to the entire international community, that Russia, if they invade Ukraine again, would face unheard of economic and other consequences. President Biden, the invasion has been ongoing for more than 4 days after an 8-year-long war. Our cities are under attack by missiles, Grad rockets, modern tanks, and aircraft. Kindergartens and civilian apartments are being hit every single hour. This invasion is happening now. President Biden, the European Union has closed its airspace to Aeroflot and every Russian airline. Canada has closed its airspace to Russian airliners. President Biden, where is the leader of the free world? Why does Aeroflot still hang on Dulles Airport? Mr. President, cutting 5 Russian banks out of 200 from SWIFT is simply not enough. Exempting Russian gas and oil transactions on SWIFT is not enough. President Biden, the world is watching you. President Biden, the world is watching you. Friends, in the 20th century, a terrible formula was created about the number of Rwandan casualties that it would take to be worth 1 American casualty. I will not repeat this terrible number. But in the 21st century, we must not, we cannot let a new term be coined. A term that asks, how many dead Ukrainians will it take for every cent per gallon at the gas pump? President Biden, the world is watching you.
President Biden, the world is watching you. President Biden, the world is watching you. President Biden, the world is watching you. President Biden, the world is watching you.
Friends, I have a chilling horror when I ask myself, how many atrocities will the Russians need to do in Ukraine for the Western world, led by the United States, to wake up and to take meaningful action? Mr. Biden, President Biden, leaders lead. To all of you, I would like to address you next. You have a job to do. You have a job to do today. Your job is to educate and mobilize your friends and neighbors to press President Biden and Congress to keep their word, to institute crippling economic sanctions on Russia, and to do so now, today. No more symbolic gestures. Stand with Ukraine. Make the cost for Russia to continue this war untenable. To all of you, when you leave here, take your Ukrainian flags with you. Hang them proud outside of your homes and your apartments. Wear a Ukrainian shirt, a cap. If need be, put Ukrainian paint on your cheeks. And when people ask you, what does it mean to be Ukrainian? Here's what you tell them. You tell them about our history spanning thousands of years. You tell them about the Constitution of Philippe Aurelik in 1710 that predated the French and the American Constitution and called for democracy in Ukraine. You tell them about the Budapest Memorandum, where the third most powerful nuclear country in the world peacefully disarmed, but it didn't just do so on its own accord. It did so in exchange for promises from the leader of this country, from France, and even from Russia. But we did this for promises of safeguarding our territorial integrity. President Biden, the world is watching you. Friends, next, I need you to tell these people a few other things. Tell them about the unarmed civilians in the Ukrainian town of Bakhmut, who got on their knees in front of Russian tanks to stop them, who threw their bicycles at Russian tanks because that is all they had at their disposal. Tell them about the brave soldiers on Zmini Island who faced down the entire Russian fleet and fought to the death despite being outnumbered and outgunned. Tell them what these brave Ukrainian soldiers said when they were asked to surrender and when they were asked to go and spend some time in a nice warm Russian jail cell. You tell them. Ruski kорабль. You tell them about how, despite the projections of every skilled military tactician, about how Kyiv and all of Ukraine would fall to the mighty Russian army within 2 days. And you tell them that the Ukrainian flag proudly still flies in every major Ukrainian city. Not one major city has been captured after 4 days. And next, you tell them what are the colors projected today, tonight, on the Roman Colosseum, on the Eiffel Tower, on every landmark in New York City, on the Masonic Temple down the street, and in almost every city around the world. Because people are awed by Ukraine's bravery and will to fight. And then you tell them the story of your family and friends who are willing to fight with pots and pans, with couches, whatever it takes. I would like to next address our brave Ukrainian soldiers, students, lawyers, engineers, and grandmothers who are mobilizing to stand up to the Russian occupiers. Please know, you are not standing alone. We and the entire world stand with you. We 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 stand with Ukraine. We stand with Ukraine. We stand with Ukraine. We will do our part to press our government and leadership to do more to support you. And we will do so now. You are an inspiration to us all. And President Biden, the world is watching you.
President Biden, the world is watching you. President Biden, the world is watching you. President Biden, the world is watching you. President Biden, the world is watching you.
Perhaps a crowd that you did not think I would address today. I want to address the Russian soldiers in Ukraine right now, who are exhausted, hungry, and dismayed by our fighting resolve. Wipe off the Z, the V, the O, and other signs off of your military vehicles. Rip off your Russian army patches. Surrender, you will not be harmed. We will feed you. We will provide you shelter. Shelter that your own troop or your own leadership is not providing you. Stand with us against the evil and authoritarian regime of Vladimir Putin. Stand with your brave brothers and sisters in St. Petersburg and other cities who have come out and protest against Vladimir Putin and against the evil war machine of Russia. Finally, to all of these audiences, I want to make sure every single one of you know the definition to one word today. That word is mriya. Mriya means dream in Ukrainian. Mriya is also the name of the largest civilian cargo plane in the world, an Antonov 225. This morning, it was parked in an airfield, and the Russian military destroyed it. While this is terrible news, I want you to know something. Yes, Russia can destroy the airplane named Maria. And Russia may be able to shell some of our kindergartens. And they might be able to shell some of our apartment buildings. But they will never bring us to our knees. And they cannot destroy the Maria of our people to be free, to be sovereign, and to be independent. Friends, I would like to next bring a speaker to you to lead us in prayer. To lead us in prayer and to lead us in a moment of silence as we play the song Plenikacha. After the speaker, for those of you who are able, I would like to ask that you do the moment of silence on your knees. On your knees to honor the brave soldiers and civilians who are fighting right this minute for our independence and freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a critical time. Father, I would like to bring you up. Father Volodymyr Stelyak. Then we will have a moment of silence. And he is of St. Andrew Orthodox Cathedral. Father.
Слава Ісусу Христу!
Слава навіки!
Дорогенькі мої, тяжкі часи, these are difficult times, my beloved brothers and sisters in the good Lord. This is it. It is time to ask the good Lord to protect our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. Everyone that goes out there, they go with the hope that God will protect them. Let us have a prayer. I will not offer a prayer as we always do, because this time I need you. Every single one of you will raise your voice as high as possible. Let the heaven hear our prayer. We will pray Our Father like we never prayed before. We need your prayers. The leaders, spiritual leaders, are with you. Our brothers and sisters in Ukraine need our prayers as well. Отче наш, що єси на небесах, нехай святиться ім'я Твоє, нехай прийде царство Твоє, нехай буде як на небі, так і на землі. Хліб наш насущний дай нам сьогодні, і прости нам провини наші, як і ми прощаємо винуватцям нашим. І не веди нас у спокусу, але визволи нас від лукавого. And now, let's do it in English. Loud voice. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Lord and Master of our life, we ask you to bless and protect our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. Protect the world, protect those that choose and defend freedom. For yours is the name that is holy, now and forever. Amen. Thank you, and may God bless you. Please pray like you never prayed before, because Ukraine needs you. God bless you all.
God bless
Friends and
Ukraine!
supporters, please join us in a moment of silence. If you can, please do so on your knees. Слава Україні! Героям слава! Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
President Biden, the world is watching you.
President Biden!
President Biden, the world is watching you. President Biden, the world is watching you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. We're just gonna. My mom and my mom came all the way from Colorado, and she's been a big initiator and organizer of these events as well, all the way from Colorado and helping me. We're just gonna sing a Ukrainian song for you right now, just a little musical break, and then we'll get back to our singers. Our speakers. If you know this song, please sing with us. This is a very important song. Here's my mom.
This is a hymn that was sung by the Ukrainian army fighting in the First War. Січові стрільці. It's called "О Україно, о любененько." If you know, please sing with us.
О Україно, о любененько, тобі вірненько присягне серце, кров і любов. За Україну, за її волю, за честь, за славу, за народ, за Україну, вогнем зап'яття, рушаймо, браття, всі вперед, слушний час кличе нас, нуж бо враз, понять святий наказ за Україну. За її волю, за честь, за славу, за народ. Вперед ще, браття, прапор наш має, і сонце сяє нам Отця. Дружній тиск, спої блиск, карих гнів, і з ним подив і спів за Україну, за її волю, за честь, за славу, за народ. О, Україно, о, любоненько, тобі вірненько присягнем. Серця, кров і любов, все тобі віддати в боротьбі за Україну, за її волю, за честь, за славу, за народ. Thank you. Дякуємо. Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Україна! Україна! Україna! Thank you so much. Now I will continue inviting our distinguished guest speakers. Next in line, I would like to introduce Mr. Damon M. Wilson. He's the president and CEO of the National Endowment for Democracy here in Washington, D.C. Mr. Wilson.
Slava Ukraini. I'm with the National Endowment for Democracy, which is America's foundation for freedom. And today, the fight for freedom is in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin's attack on Ukraine is an assault on freedom and democracy, and it's a challenge to free nations around the world. This invasion comes on the heels of unchecked aggression from Vladimir Putin. In 2007, a cyber attack on Estonia. In 2008, an invasion of Georgia. In 2014, in Crimea and Donbass. We have seen Russia fueling authoritarian resurgence around the world from Africa to Latin America. And we have seen a full-scale assault on the Russian people. This past year alone, more Russians were driven into exile as he cracked down at home. And today, Ukraine is the epicenter of the fight for freedom in this world. Ukrainians' courage, their determination, has been an inspiration to rally all of us around their cause. Their cause is our cause. And Ukrainians they will have inspired those that believe in freedom for generations to come, securing Ukraine's place in history. But we are not focused on history today, we are focused on what is happening today. And the fight of Ukrainians, their success, is crucial to democracy's future. It is crucial to defeating Putinism. So it is time that we rally, that the free world rallies on behalf of Ukraine and their heroic struggle, to put together the largest solidarity package that the world has seen since the Marshall Plan to back their struggle, and that we rally to stop Putin's aggression with the resolve, the generational movement that will require to defeat his tyranny. Because only when Putin is out of Ukraine, only when Putin is out of the Kremlin, will our freedom be safe and secure. Slava Ukraini. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson. Please give him a round of applause. Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Leo Ivashko. He's the founder of the Ivashko Law Firm, and he used to have a dancing group called Fantasia here in Washington, D.C.
How many Ukrainian Americans do we have here? Round of applause. So how many of you have never asked, what's your nationality? And you say, I'm Ukrainian American. They say, what's that? Is that from Africa? How many of you would ask, what's some of your food? You say, borscht. Oh, that's Russian soup, right? Or the Cossacks. Oh, those are just Russian marauders. Or when you do a prishetka, that's just Russian dancing. What Putin has done, he's inadvertently shown the world that we are different, that we are not Russians. We are a sovereign country. We are our own people. Last week, Geraldo Rivera said, oh, Ukraine is proving that they're not a fake country. Why would you even say such a thing? We've been around for millennium. Skinny Pete in the Italian Job said, I only fear three things: Mother Nature, mother-in-laws, and mother freaking Ukrainians. Kramer on Seinfeld said, oh, look, the Ukraine is weak. It's time to put the hurt in Ukraine. And a Ukrainian bystander said, what you mean Ukraine weak? I smash your board, because that is the Ukrainian spirit. I say it in jest, but it is the truth. But what we need now, no matter how strong we are, no matter how much we are not Russia, we need America's support. We need Biden to keep the promise made in 1994 with the Budapest Memorandum. We need troops sent to Ukraine. That is the support that we need. We cannot do this on our own, because it's not a Ukrainian problem. It is a worldwide problem. And the only thing I'll say, in addition to this, is just keep calling your representatives. The more we push them, the more they maybe will see. Biden, we're watching you. The world is watching you. Keep your promise, because you know what's going to happen if they don't? Who will ever trust America again to keep a treaty, to keep a promise? If they don't keep this promise, why would they keep any other promise? I love this country. I love Ukraine. Let's combine, let's join, let's fight, and let's destroy the enemy, because that's what they are. And then let's have peace for the rest of our lives and humanity. Slava Ukraini!
Friends, before more speakers, we're going to do some chants. It is time to tell President Biden and the United States government what we are demanding.
President Biden, keep your promises.
Keep your promises.
President Biden, 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 keep your promises.
Cut all Russian banks from SWIFT.
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 Protect Ukrainian sky.
Protect Ukrainian sky.
Protect the 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 Ukrainian sky.
President Biden, the world is watching you.
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 President Biden, leaders lead.
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 President Biden, stand with Ukraine.
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 Keep your promises.
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 Cut all Russian banks from SWIFT.
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 Russian banks from SWIFT.
Cut all Russian banks from SWIFT.
Cut all Russian banks from SWIFT.
Cut all Russian banks from SWIFT.
President Biden, the world is watching you.
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 President Biden, keep your promises.
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 Defend Ukraine.
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 Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
During the time when was the trouble from Russian army and Putin were saying, we will go inside Tbilisi. Yushchenko were standing with us, and I'm thankful that you are our friends and you are our sisters and brothers. Now, I want to address one topic. My question is, where is America standing for? What the America's greatness is? Just promise? Just speaking? I remember in 2008 when Bush promised Georgia to help. I remember in 2014 when Obama promised Ukraine to help. I don't believe, and I don't want to believe, that Biden will do the same thing and betray Ukraine. And I will tell you one. If Putin is imperialist lunatic, and if Putin started the war in Ukraine, it's a world, American, and NATO fault. He didn't make an action since 2008. He didn't make an action since 2014. And finally, you wake up, finally. And Biden, the world is watching you. You are betraying Ukraine. Now you went to Delaware. Just remember the Budapest, when you disarmed the Ukraine. The Ukraine is not for Ukraine problem only. It's an Americans and world problem. And finally, I want to tell you, Ukraine, never give up. Fight. Georgia are with you. Poland are with you. And we, together, we will fight against Putin. And I believe that one day we will wake up and we will win this war. And we're going to live as a victory for our freedom, for our country's freedom, and we will take back our territories. We will take Crimea, Donetsk, Lugansk, Abkhazia, and Ossetia. We the people love Ukraine! Slava Ukraini! Slava Ukraini! Slava Ukraini! Дякую вас! Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you, Georgians, for being here. We have a gentleman here who is a staffer from Congressman Brendan Boyle. His name is Mr. Gianluca Nigro. He's going to read a statement on behalf of Congressman Brendan Boyle. Please let's welcome him to stage. Thank you. And he's the Congressman of Pennsylvania. Which district? From Philadelphia. Please let's welcome Mr. Gianluca Nigro.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for hosting this today. The Congressman wishes he could be here, and he'll certainly be at future events here at the White House in Philadelphia and throughout the nation. We have a brief statement here from the Congressman. He just returned back from Brussels with the NATO Parliamentary Assembly, and he wanted this read here today. So thank you again for the opportunity. As we gather today to rally behind the Ukraine and the Ukrainian community in Philadelphia, in Washington, D.C., and across our region, I want you to know my commitment is to Ukraine and to ensuring that the United States upholds its commitment to stand with Ukraine as it is faced with unprovoked aggression from an autocrat like Vladimir Putin and his Russian regime. As a nation, the United States must do all it can to support and help defend the integrity and sovereignty of democratic nations such as Ukraine. The events of the past week have been devastating. Vladimir Putin chose to launch a war that has already brought tremendous suffering and loss of life. He alone is to blame for the violence we are witnessing. But the Ukrainian people are resilient, and the United States and allies will do everything in our power to hold Putin accountable. Putin and his enablers will pay an incredibly severe price for their actions. The retaliatory efforts we have taken and the crippling sanctions we are imposing are not only unprecedented in scope, but will also present the Kremlin with detrimental economic costs. The United States and our transatlantic allies are sending an explicit and forceful message to the rest of the world that any breach of territorial integrity is unacceptable and will be met with unmatched resolve. We have seen Russian attempts to undermine American elections and democratic norms, and we've seen and are seeing unprecedented and outrageous Russian aggression and attacks meant to destabilize Ukraine and democratically elected government. We cannot allow such efforts to continue or to succeed. During a time when we see the forces of authoritarianism advancing in many parts of the world, we must resolve to fight back against such forces, as well as their attempts to undermine our way of life. That is why I'm proud to say to you that I stand with the people of Ukraine, and I'm committed as a member of Congress to doing all within my power to support Ukraine and its people as it navigates the current provocations by Russia and its autocratic leadership. I believe that together, Ukraine and the United States and our Ukrainian-American community can and will work together to beat back this current crisis and to ensure that our shared democratic values continue to be upheld and defended. Thank you for your presence, and I look forward to working with you all moving forward.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here, Mr. Gianluca. Next, it's my distinct honor to introduce Ms. Oksana Yaremchuk. She's traveled here all the way from New York City, and she is the president of the Ukrainian Jersey City and the vice president of the UNWLA branch 143, and she's also part of Razom for Ukraine, which is also one of our co-organizers who's helped us with last Sunday's events, and they continue helping us with these events as well. Let us please welcome Ms. Yaramchuk.
Oh boy, guys. Hi everybody. Привіт, Україна! Привіт, українці! Тиждень тому, 1 week ago, I have not imagined standing here in front of such a huge crowd. I did not imagine this. On Thursday, I checked my phone one last time before going to bed, and I found out that the bombs are flying in Ukraine. I found out that the sirens are sounding and then the war has started. I have a family in Ukraine. My family is standing strong with Ukraine. I am standing here strong with Ukraine. We need to show our courage. We will not give up. Encourage all of your people not to give up, to stand strong. If United States currently not providing us help with army, we need to ask for different help. In New Jersey and New York, we're gathering medical supplies that are getting shipped right now to Ukraine. We're finding ways. We're sending drones, guys. Today, we sent 2 drones. Tomorrow, going another 2. We need 30 drones. We're standing with our soldiers. My uncle's ready. He's going to, or we're not gonna give our country away. We're gonna stand strong. And oh boy, Georgian people who stand with us today, please be strong with us. You know how it feels to be bullied. We don't want to allow this. Please stand with Ukraine. 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 We will not give up, guys. Please tell your neighbors, print a little flag from Google, put it on your window, support. Our people need support. Our people need that the world is standing behind them. This is giving them power right now. Please support. Follow organizations. Think about one thing each of you can do today to help Ukraine, to help boys who are protecting our country, our homeland. We want our land. We want our language. We want our traditions. We want to be democratic, diplomatic country. We will not give up. 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 Stand strong, guys. We're here. Yes.
Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Слава Україні! President Biden, the world is watching you! President Biden, the world is watching you! President Biden, the world is watching you! President Biden, the world is watching you!
Cut all Russian banks from SWIFT.
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 President Biden, stand with Ukraine.
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 Protect Ukrainian sky.
Protect Ukrainian sky.
Protect the Ukrainian sky.
Protect the Ukrainian sky.
Protect the Ukrainian skies.
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 President Biden, keep your promises.
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 Friends, I want to emphasize the words of our previous speaker. This event is us talking to each other, and we don't need to know this message. We already are, as far as it goes, supporting Ukraine. What you need to do is open your phone and look at all of the people, all of your friends, all of your co-workers, your dentist, your chiropractor, everyone who's reached out to you in support of Ukraine, and ask, what more can I do? Yes, we appreciate prayer, and we appreciate your thoughts, but what you can do is get on your computer or get on your phone and call the White House. Write the White House and Congress. We do not need more words. We need more actions, and we need them now. And one other thing. This event does not end today. We have been at the White House each of the last 3 days, from noon to 8 p.m. or later, or until some of us lose our voice. Tomorrow, we will be here at noon. On Tuesday, we will be here at noon. If you've traveled from afar, pick your location and go there at noon and stand with Ukraine.
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 Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Thank you so much. I'm going to continue introducing some great speakers for you. Next, we have another speaker who was here. He's also a co-organizer of some of our events, and especially the event last Sunday. He was also one of our distinguished speakers last Sunday at the Lincoln Memorial. It's Mr. Michael Salkiw Jr. He is the director of the Ukrainian National Information Service, the Washington Bureau. He's also the executive vice president of the Ukrainian Community of America.
Ева, повернись.
Я хорошо стоял. Да? Да, Ева, можешь туда посмотреть?
Слава Україні! Dear Ukrainian community activists, dear Americans, we all stand here in Lafayette Park in front of the White House to seek action from the White House. The United States and Ukraine, since 2008, have been strategic partners. As strategic partners,
The quote, the most infamous quote of the past week is as such. The fight is here. I need ammunition, not a ride. Our fight is with the Ukrainians. Our fight is making sure that the White House and Congress understand what it means to be a strategic partner of Ukraine. USA, arm Ukraine! USA, arm Ukraine!
USA, arm Ukraine! USA, arm Ukraine! USA, arm Ukraine! USA, arm Ukraine! USA, arm Ukraine! USA, arm Ukraine!
We want the United States to designate Russia as a state sponsor of terror. We want to define Putin as a war criminal. We want our social media platforms of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram to delete Russian accounts and fake news. Forget about a few Russian oligarchs. All the Russian oligarchs' assets must be frozen. Revoke Russian visas of students and cultural ensembles to the United States. Let them understand this is a country of privilege. If their government is waging a war against Ukraine, it is upon them to change their government and to make sure that this war stops, not to have those students here in the United States. Sanction officials in the Russian Federation who also are abusing the human and religious rights of Ukrainians in the Russian Federation. There are 10 million Ukrainians in the Russian Federation, and their voice needs to be heard as well. And what we heard today, time and time again, about a no-fly zone over Ukraine. While we welcome a no-fly zone over Ukraine, we should welcome Ukraine in NATO now! 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 Let us be mindful that we are in front of the White House. Our objective as Ukrainian Americans, as all freedom-loving people, as American citizens, is to contact our elected officials, whether it is the President of the United States across the park, or whether it is Congress 16 blocks away down Pennsylvania Avenue. We need to make sure that our voice is heard, not tomorrow, but today. Your task is to invite all of your friends, all of your family, Ukrainian American and American alike. Contact the White House. Illuminate the White House in blue and yellow colors. The world shows its solidarity with Ukraine in illuminating beautiful buildings, national buildings, historical buildings worldwide. The same must be done of this symbolic gesture for Ukraine. Contact your members of Congress. Contact the White House. Tell them to support Ukraine immediately. Support Ukraine! Support Ukraine! Support Ukraine! Support Ukraine! Ladies and gentlemen, we are not in this fight alone. We have heard from the Joint Baltic American National Committee. We have heard from our friends from the Georgian community. We are fortunate that there exists a Central and East European community of communities of the Polish descent, of the Baltics, of the Georgians, and of others, which enumerate over 25 million citizens of Central and East European descent. We are proud to be a part of that coalition. They stand with us, and they are here with us this afternoon. If I could please introduce the Executive Director from the Estonian American National Committee, Karin Shui. Karin, please. Support Ukraine! Support Ukraine! Support Ukraine!
Support Ukraine!
Okay, that's excuse me. So good afternoon. As Michael said, I am Karin Shui with the Estonian American National Council, representing Estonian Americans throughout the U.S. And I think it's fair to say that Estonians around the world marked their anniversary of independence on Thursday in somber solidarity with Ukrainians at the violence that Putin brought across Ukraine's borders on that day. And EANC issued a statement of support on February 24th. On the 104th anniversary of Estonia's independence, the Estonian American National Council condemns in the strongest terms possible the invasion of Ukraine by President Putin's forces on false pretenses and in blatant violation of international law. We stand in solidarity with Ukrainians in their fight to maintain their sovereignty and pursue democratic values and institutions. We call on Estonian Americans to join in showing support for United States actions aimed to ensure the security of Ukraine, Estonia, and the rest of Europe. EANC urges its constituents to contact their members of Congress and the White House to express distress and anger about the invasion of Ukraine and concern about the possibility of future Russian actions threatening the Baltic countries and other NATO members. EANC is a parent organization of the Joint Baltic American National Committee and a member of the Central and East European Coalition that Michael just introduced. It's a coalition of nonprofits representing diaspora communities with roots in 13 nations from the region. EANC is working closely with them at following Michael's lead to determine the best courses of action for our organizations to take as the situation evolves, and we echo the statements already issued by our colleagues. Together, we will urge Congress to pass maximum emergency supplemental funding as requested by the White House on Friday for military and humanitarian aid to stop Russia now. We will continue to press for the immediate imposition of the full force of sanctions against Putin and his regime. We will ask our community members throughout the country to amplify this message, and we will remain engaged. We will not stop until Ukraine's sovereignty is fully restored. In these dark times, we will continue to carry the promise that freedom and the will of the people will prevail in Ukraine as they did in Ukraine and Estonia in 1918. Slava Ukraina!
Ukraina! Ukraina! Ukraina!
Friends, if you open the Wall Street Journal on your phone, what you'll see is a news article that the European Union right now is in talks to provide Ukraine with fighter jets.
That is one of the biggest pieces of news. So again, President Biden, we are watching you. 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 President Biden, leaders lead.
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 Protect Ukrainian skies.
Protect the 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 Ukrainian skies.
Cut all Russian banks from SWIFT.
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 President Biden, take action now.
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 The world is watching you.
The world is watching you.
We are watching you.
We are watching you.
The world is watching you.
The world is watching you.
We are watching you.
We are watching you.
The world is watching you.
The world is watching you.
We are watching you.
We are watching you.
Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
USA, arm Ukraine! USA, arm Ukraine!
USA, arm Ukraine! USA, arm Ukraine! USA, arm Ukraine! USA, arm Ukraine!
My friends, we have other colleagues here from other Central and East European communities. You've just heard from my Estonian colleague. Next you'll hear from my Armenian colleague. Armenia also knows devastation, destruction. Their genocide of 1915, our genocide of 1932-33, and the Holodomor, with the Holodomor Memorial no more than 16 blocks away, several blocks from the United States Capitol. The word genocide is being used today in inappropriate ways by a very inappropriate dictator. Genocide must be stopped. What we see in Ukraine today is considered to be a genocide as well. It's an honor and it's a pleasure to introduce my colleague from the Armenian Assembly of America, Brian Arduni. Brian.
All right. Michael, thank you very much, and thank you to all the organizers here today, and for all of you for being out here today. I think everyone deserves a round of applause. All right. Michael is correct. Throughout the years, we have worked together on key issues, whether it's U.S. affirmation of the Armenian genocide and the Holodomor, to supporting aid for the Ukrainian people and the Armenian people, and so much more. We also recall that it was the Ukrainian Anatoly Zinovich who fought alongside the Armenian people when Artsakh was defending itself against foreign aggression in the 1990s. He, like so many Ukrainians today, are heroes in defense of freedom and democracy. As a diaspora community, we know the importance and power of our collective voices. Together we stand in solidarity in calling for this war to end and for democracy to be respected. God bless the Ukrainian people. Thank you.
Thank you to Armenian colleagues. All genocide must be stopped in the world. All genocides must be recognized in the world. The Holodomor needs to be recognized also as a genocide by the White House, by the United States Congress, by the State Department. It's an honor and a pleasure to introduce my next colleague from the Hungarian American community, Max Keleki, as the Executive Director of the Hungarian American Coalition.
Greetings from the Hungarian American community. Slava Ukraini! I learned those words in 2014 across the street there when my friend Michael to my right taught them to me. I've never forgotten them. In my 5 trips to Ukraine since 1995, I have come to admire Ukraine